Imagine this: deep within an impenetrable jungle, a metal beast lies dormant, swallowed by vines and forgotten by time. This isn't some ancient ruin. It's one of the most advanced attack helicopters ever built, a Boeing AH-64 Apache. For decades, it was lost to the world. But today, we're telling the incredible story of its discovery and its jaw-dropping restoration. How did it end up there? And what Herculean effort did it take to bring this apex predator of the skies back to life? Stick around, because this is a rescue mission unlike any other. The story begins in the late 1980s. During a covert training exercise over a dense, uncharted jungle in Central America, a state-of-the-art Apache helicopter encountered a catastrophic mechanical failure. The two pilots, highly skilled and experienced, faced an impossible choice. With systems failing and the aircraft rapidly losing altitude, they expertly navigated it away from populated areas, aiming for a small, seemingly stable clearing they spotted through a break in the canopy. It was a controlled crash, a testament to their skill, and miraculously, both pilots survived with manageable injuries. They were rescued within 48 hours, but the multi-million-dollar helicopter was another story. The terrain was just too hostile. The dense vegetation, treacherous ground, and the sheer remoteness of the crash site made any recovery attempt at the time far too dangerous and astronomically expensive. The military made a tough call. The Apache was officially written off, deemed irretrievable. The jungle had claimed its prize. And so, the high-tech war machine was left to the mercy of nature. Rain, humidity, and relentless plant growth began their slow work of reclaiming the metal bird, turning it into a ghostly, moss-covered monument hidden from the world. For nearly 30 years, its existence became a mere footnote in a classified report, a ghost story whispered among veteran pilots. Fast forward to just a few years ago. A team of dedicated aviation archaeologists and passionate restorers, armed with declassified documents and advanced satellite imagery, caught wind of this legend. They were obsessed with the idea of finding this lost Apache. Think of them as modern-day Indiana Joneses, but instead of golden idols, their treasure was a 10-ton piece of aviation history. After months of digital detective work, cross-referencing old maps with new topographical data, they pinpointed a potential location, a metallic anomaly deep within the jungle that matched the dimensions of an Apache. The expedition was launched. Getting to the site was an adventure in itself, involving off-road vehicles, riverboats, and finally, a grueling multi-day trek on foot, hacking through the dense undergrowth with machetes. And then, they found it. The sight was surreal. The Apache was remarkably intact, its iconic, menacing shape still recognizable despite being draped in a thick blanket of green. Vines snaked through the cockpit, tree roots buckled the landing gear, and a colony of bats had taken up residence in the engine housing. The once gleaming black paint was now a mottled camouflage of moss and rust. It was a haunting, yet beautiful scene, a symbol of technological might, humbled by the quiet, persistent power of nature. The real challenge, however, had just begun. This wasn't just about finding it. They wanted to bring it home. The restoration team had to figure out how to extract a 10-ton helicopter from a place that vehicles couldn't reach. The plan they devised was audacious. First, a forward team spent weeks carefully clearing the vegetation around the wreck. They had to be meticulous, cataloging every part they found, no matter how small, that had broken off during the crash. Every panel, every rivet, was a piece of the puzzle. Then came the heavy lifting, literally. They couldn't just airlift the whole thing out. It was too fragile and entangled. So, they decided to disassemble it, piece by piece, right there in the jungle. Imagine the scene. A makeshift workshop under the jungle canopy, with the sounds of exotic birds and buzzing insects as the soundtrack. Highly skilled engineers and mechanics worked in grueling heat and humidity, carefully taking apart the rotors, the tail boom, the fuselage, and the complex internal systems. It was like performing open-heart surgery in the middle of nowhere. Each major component was then painstakingly airlifted out by a heavy-lift helicopter, one by one, and transported to a restoration facility thousands of miles away. Back at the workshop, the true scale of the restoration project became clear. 30 years of jungle life had taken a heavy toll. The team was faced with severe corrosion, water damage, and parts that were simply gone, rotted away. The electronics were a complete write-off, the wiring harnesses chewed through by animals. Many structural components were weakened by rust. It would have been easier to just build a replica from scratch. But that wasn't the point. The goal was to preserve the soul of this specific aircraft, to resurrect the original machine. This is where the magic of modern restoration comes in. The team was a mix of seasoned veterans who had worked on Apaches in their prime, and young engineers armed with cutting-edge technology. They used 3D scanning to recreate missing or irreparable parts, reverse engineering components from original blueprints. They painstakingly stripped every single piece down to bare metal, treating it for corrosion and repairing any damage. It was a slow, methodical process. Countless hours were spent sourcing rare, period-correct parts from aviation boneyards and private collectors all over the world. One of the biggest challenges was the cockpit. The complex array of screens and controls was a swampy mess. The team had to rebuild the entire avionics suite from the ground up, a delicate task requiring immense expertise. They even managed to restore the original pilot seats, complete with the tattered remnants of their harnesses, a poignant reminder of the aircraft's dramatic final flight. They kept every piece that could be salvaged, every panel that bore the scars of its jungle ordeal, wanting the helicopter to tell its own story. After 3 long years of relentless work, the moment of truth arrived. Fully reassembled, with a fresh coat of paint, but still bearing subtle signs of its past, the Apache looked magnificent. Its engines, meticulously rebuilt, were ready to roar back to life. The team gathered as the chief engineer initiated the startup sequence. The auxiliary power unit wind, the systems flickered on, and then, with a deep, thunderous churn, the main rotor blades began to spin. Faster and faster, they sliced through the air, creating the iconic, intimidating sound that defines the Apache. For the men and women who had poured their hearts and souls into this project, it was an emotional moment. They hadn't just restored a machine. They had rescued a piece of history. They had defied the odds and reversed the course of nature, bringing a legend back from its jungle grave. This restored Apache now stands as a museum piece, a powerful tribute to the pilots who flew it, the engineers who built it, and the restorers who saved it. It's a testament to human ingenuity, perseverance, and our enduring fascination with these incredible flying machines. A beast, lost and forgotten, now reborn. Thanks so much for watching this incredible journey with us. If you love stories of amazing restorations and aviation history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. We'll see you in the next one.